Hello, viewers. Welcome to another episode on the Little Fella Sports Podcast. So today we have Gurkirat joining us on the special episode to preview the fourth test that's going to happen in a couple of days at the Motera. The test series has been a bit of a seesaw battle so far. First test, uh, England made light work of India over 5 days in Chennai, and they completely won all 5 days to go 1-0 up. India stormed back in the second test on the back of an impressive 161 from Rohit Sharma and some brilliant bowling from Ashwin, who also contributed to the century in the second innings to make it 1-all. The much anticipated pink ball test got underway in Ahmedabad, and before even one could blink an eye, the game was over in 2 days, and the pitch came under a lot of scrutiny from both Indians as well as people abroad. And the same Motera, the pitch that hosted the shortest test after the Second World War, is going to host the fourth test as well. Again, we saw a heavily grass-laden pitch a couple of days back, and today the latest images from Motera show a fully shaven wicket with a tinge of grass, which we believe will also be cut off in the coming days. So, Gurkirat, starting off with you, this has been the pitch talk has had no end throughout the series. Right from the first test, the pitch has been the major talking point for almost everyone in the series. What are your thoughts about the pitch? I mean, is the pitch talk even worth it?
Uh, it's like, I mean, there's honestly been so much of it that at this point of time, it's not worth it. But you know, all said and done, like I said in the review of the third test, a less than 2 day test match doesn't make for a great viewing from a test match point of view. Yes, it provided a lot of exciting cricket. It was fast paced, but you can't have test matches which are less which are lesser in length than say the length of two ODIs. So that is where I have a problem. I have a problem because you'd rather watch, if you want just fast paced exciting cricket, you might as well watch T20s. So didn't enjoy it that much, but I don't think it can be purely put down to the pitch. I've read a few articles, read a few analysis where it says that the pink ball also played a huge part in how the batting became so difficult, and how somebody like an Akshar Patel and Joe Root came into the play. That the ball kept skidding off the pitch and didn't really turn a lot. So I think you have to put it down to that. And considering the pitch for the fourth test, I think India might India might want a flat sort of a pitch or a road as you call it, because our draw also secures a WTC spot. However, I would personally like India to go for a win and go into the WTC final with the stamp of authority. Apart from this, like we had discussed after the review of the third test, and before the series, that rank turners actually give opposition a chance to compete in India, because India are so strong that even if you have a sporting pitch or a normal subcontinent continent surface, it's very difficult for any team to beat India. It's only on the rank turners that the opposition gets a chance, because then the quality between a Joe Root and a Ravichandran Ashwin is massively reduced. Right? We saw what Joe Root did. He took 5 for 8. If you ask me personally, after the first innings, England were as much with a chance in the game as India was, because India had to bat fourth. Probably if England had posted somewhere around 150, you may never know that India would have had some trouble for sure. But yes, I think the talking of the pitch now needs to stop. Both the teams need to focus on what is the right 11 they should play in the fourth test, and what should work best for them. India have to decide if they want to play a Mohammad Siraj or an Umesh Yadav in place of Jasprit Bumrah, or they want to play both and drop a spinner in Washington Sundar, because you may not need that much of a batting depth if you are playing with the red ball and the pitch is flat.
Yeah, you had actually talked a lot about the fact that India has to give out sporting wickets this series because it's a four-test series. We do not want rank turners on all four test matches so that it just gets very one-sided. And to be honest, on the back of a brilliant tour in Australia, to watch these short, curtailed test matches where literally only one aspect of the game is in play, I think there's been a definite degradation in the standard of cricket that we've seen. The high octane, intense cricket that we saw in Australia, that intensity has definitely not been there in this particular series. And definitely, as you pointed out, a major part of it has to go to the fact that we've prepared pitches to our advantage, and that has actually not yielded competitive cricket over the course of the last three games. So now that we are almost at the end of the series, if you had to point out a couple of major takeaways from India, India's perspective, what would it be?
So I think they'd be very happy with how Akshar Patel has come along because with the impact that Ravindra Jadeja was having, there was an outside chance that England would have had in this series because Jadeja was missing, Mohammad Shami wasn't there, and even Umesh Yadav was missing, who's a very different bowler when he has to bowl in India as compared to what he bowls and how he bowls overseas. So England definitely had an outside chance, and they showed why people were saying that they might have an outside chance after how they performed in the first test. Uh, the fourth and fifth bowler or the second and third spinner for India definitely lagged control in Chennai in the first test, and Akshar Patel has provided that control which you need in subcontinent. Even when wickets are not falling or you have difficult wickets where you have to contain, Akshar Patel provides the captain with that sort of a skill, which is very important when you have to play in subcontinent or on pitches which don't offer much for bowlers. So India would be really, really, really happy with the progress and what they've seen of Akshar Patel so far. Secondly, they'd be happy with how Ashwin as a batsman is improving. Somewhere between 2017 to 2019 and even to some extent 2020, we thought that you might have seen the best days of Ashwin the batsman, and they may not come again. But how Ashwin has batted in this series and also in Sydney in Australia, he showcased that he's becoming confident again, and that is a very good sign because it allows India to have some more confidence and lengthens the batting. So that is a positive. Apart from this, I don't. Yeah, apart from this, how Rohit Sharma has played. There were doubts on Rohit's place after the first test because people always expect a lot more from him. There have always been doubts about how Rohit is going to play the swinging ball, but I think how he played in the first innings in Ahmedabad, has given the team confidence that he may be the guy who opens in England. And I think one more test if he does well, if he plays out Anderson and Archer pretty well along with Broad or whosoever is the third pacer, it will give India a lot of confidence in Rohit's abilities as an opener. And it's time that Rohit makes that spot his own. He's worked hard on it. He's probably worked hard on his fitness as well. He's leaving the ball very well, which I've been repeating every time. When people speak of if Rohit's the right man to be persisted as an India opener, he's doing the first basic thing which is required of a test opener very well. That is leaving the ball outside off stump or on off stump pretty well. So these are the three major positives that I see for India. Come the fourth test, depends who India play. If India play both Siraj and sort of Umesh along with Ishant, then India would really like to see how Siraj comes and performs in India on a flat pitch, and how well has Umesh recovered from his injury, because that again will give India a lot of confidence in the terms of depth that they have, because it will give India the confidence to sort of rest Jasprit Bumrah whenever they are playing test matches in India.
Yeah, you're absolutely right with those points, Gurkirat. Just a couple of references to what you spoke about. Going into this test series, there was always this big doubt as to whether Mayank Agarwal would even get a game on these four games because Shubman Gill and Rohit Sharma came into that third test in Australia and just made that opening slots their own. And of course, all both of them made contributions in both the tests. But then coming into this test series, there was always this little question of guilt. Would you rest someone who's done so well at home? But Gill and Rohit Sharma have stepped up. They've shown that they can open in Test cricket, and I think Gill has been a great revelation so far in the last six tests that we've seen. He's shown a lot of character, and we're seeing the best of Shubman Gill now. With respect to Rohit Sharma, yes, as you said, there was always this question of whether he can handle uh, opening the batting in Test cricket against quality attack. He did it decently in Australia in those two tests, but he's come back here, and in the last two tests, he's really shown that his game against spin is very good, probably top 5 in the country. probably the best in the game as well. So that that being said, you also made a very good point on how Mohammad Siraj has risen above the ranks and has actually proven himself to be a very good replacement for any one of the senior pacers. He did it in Australia and seamer friendly conditions. He's also delivering here. He in the one test match that he got in Chennai, he did bowl well whenever asked. Whenever asked to bowl, he was up for it, and he bowled some really hard spells. And Ashwin and Akshar, yes, Akshar definitely was a big revelation because in the absence of Jadeja, we needed someone who could at least replicate his bowling because Jadeja is a 3D player and you cannot replace him in the field. He's irreplaceable. As a batsman over the last couple of years, Jadeja's performance has been immense. But as a bowler, we wanted someone to fill in for Jadeja, and I think Akshar has done very well, as you pointed out. So, moving to the last test match, we just have one confirmation that Bumrah has been released from the squad, which means one of the pacers have to come in. Apart from that, do you expect any changes? Do you see a little rejig in the batting order just to give the guys on the bench a chance?
No, I wouldn't change anyone in the batting order or in the team which is not required, because let's not forget, you India haven't really secured the WTC final spot. There's a test match that still needs to be won. There's a series which still needs to be won. So I don't think there's any need for experimentation right now, and I don't think the Indian team management is going to look at any sort of experimentation. Yes, one pacer is going to come in, but it would be interesting to see if India go in with a 3-2-3 pacer and two spin attack, or 2-3 pace attack in terms of having three spinners. It all comes down to the pitch. I personally feel that if it's a pitch which is going to be flat for the first 2 days, India are better off playing a third pacer, because in this case, the second and the third pacer are going to be Umesh and Siraj both. And you know what Umesh provides is something which other bowlers will struggle with, because when the SG ball goes soft, it becomes very difficult for spinners to grip the ball and provide it a decent amount of rip. That is where someone like an Umesh Yadav can come and bowl when the ball is reversing, and he's going to get some purchase of it, and he's done well doing that in India. So that makes him a plausible replacement for Jasprit Bumrah. The other thing is, I would like, the reason why I'm saying that India should play a third pacer is because it allows India to control Joe Root. If India is going to play Kuldeep Yadav or say a Washington Sundar, Joe Root will get another opportunity or sort of a leeway in terms of attacking the fifth bowler. But if a Mohammad Siraj plays, then all these three bowlers are have the capability of bowling within the stumps, and having and setting up that LBW trap for Joe Root, which has been successful for him. I've spoken how Mohammad Shami has gotten him out that way. Bumrah has gotten him out that way, and Ishant Sharma has gotten him out that way. Even the Australian attack has gotten him out while playing the flick. And this is something which Ishant was trying to do in the first day or in the first innings in Chennai. So I'd actually like India to play three paces and two spinners in Akshar and Ashwin. So my playing 11 would be exactly the same as Ahmedabad, with just two changes. One would be Jasprit Bumrah being forced out because he's been asked for release. Just no Jasprit Bumrah, no Washington Sundar, Umesh Yadav and Mohammad Siraj come in. Everything else remains the same.
Yeah, that would be an ideal 11 in hindsight because what it does is it gives Virat Kohli a little more depth in the seam bowling department. And as we all know, Umesh Yadav's India record in Indian conditions is impeccable, almost second to none. That's the kind of record that Umesh Yadav's been having over the past few seasons. And yeah, as you pointed out, I think the batting pretty much selects itself. Not many spots that you can offer a change. So Mayank Agarwal will sit this tournament out, and hopefully he'll go in as the third opener for England when we tour them later this year. So with that, it's a wrap on the show today. Thanks a lot to Gurkirat for joining us for the special preview of the fourth test. We have a lot of content coming up, so please do like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We'll be back with another video. Until then, stay tuned and bye bye.